Yes, people. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to KGX to the ZTV. First and foremost, people, the season predictions are coming. I promise you. Work things are going very busy. But I also wanted to wait until the end of the transfer window, right? There's no point in making predictions now when this last week, 2 weeks can drastically change, right? We know Chelsea's going to potentially make some moves. Man City's potentially going to make some moves. Liverpool's trying to get their couple of wingers in. United trying to get a left back, right? Arsenal maybe another left winger or a left attacker and things like that. So people, the season predictions, they will come. If you want to see my early preseason predictions, go check out the boardroom. Check out my homie Villa Noir. The last boardroom that we did give our top 10. But we also said with the caveat, we're going to revisit this once the season predictions, once the transfer window ends. So let's get into the topic of today. And I'm not going to beat around the bush, folks. Your boy was a little bit, as Ketch says, a little nervous. Last game of the weekend, Monday night, under the lights. Apart from the opening Friday night fixture, this is the opening day fixture that you want to avoid, right? All the eyes on us. We've seen all the jokes. We've run all the banter, right? We saw Man United get mauled by Hull. We saw Brentford G-check Tottenham at the G-Tech. All the jokes, right? Liverpool pulled out a last-minute draw away to Newcastle, which actually, to be honest with you, thought was a very good point for them. Um, right? We saw Man City pull out a 2-1 victory versus Bournemouth at home. A Bournemouth side that hasn't lost in the league in like 10, 15 matches or something like that since the last time they lost to City, right? So look, last game of the opening day of the opening match fixtures, whatever the hell you want to call it. All eyes on us. New manager, London derby, our closest rivals in London, Fulham, right down the street, Kings Road. Hostile atmosphere. We saw how we played them last year, right? We had the Josh King fiasco, which was really a foul. Then we had Kukurea get sent off in the 2-1 loss right after, I think it was in January or sometime like that. So, look, we needed a little bit of get back against Fulham. And that's a Fulham side, right? New manager, no more Raul Jimenez up top, no more Harry Wilson. So they lost a little bit of quality, but they've added some pieces, right? Some of their players one more year of experience in the Prem. Kevino or Kevin, um, Josh King, who I thought Josh King was fantastic today. In those half spaces, he was causing problems. Um, we know they've got some players, right? Sander Berge, good midfielder, right? Nothing doesn't do anything spectacularly, but is a good, solid Premier League midfielder. Gets around, tackles, interceptions, keeps it moving and stuff like that. And look, today we were on the back foot. We conceded possession. But before we start on that, let's just talk about the lineups. The big news before the match started: no Caicedo, no Palestra, held out because of knocks that they received. Team wanted to be extra cautious. Early report says that they're not going to be long-term injuries and that they should be back maybe next week for Brighton. But still cause for concern, right? Because we ended up with wing backs, right? So we know Xabi Alonso, 3-4-3, Sanchez in goal. Right wing back was Gusto. Look, who's the right center back? Oh, Josh, Lacroix, Colwell, and then Hato at left wing back, right? So right there from the start, you know when the ball gets recycled out wide, it's not going to be ideal for us, right? So I get it. Midfield, Reece James, Lavia. So you know right there too that there's not going to be too much control in midfield, right? Lavia is not so much a tempo setter as he is someone that is good at beating the press, someone that's a little press resistant. And we know Reece James is really a makeshift midfielder, capable of putting in fantastic performances. We know what he's like when he's on the ball. He can pick a pass and things like that. But positionally, Reece isn't the be all end all when it comes to I had to check to make sure my mic was on. When it comes to midfielders and it comes to controlling a game, right? Everyone loves to say, "Oh, they control or they run a game and things like that." You're not going to get that with a Reece Lavia double pivot. Ahead of them, the front three picks itself. JP Morgan, as we're still calling it. Shout out my homie Jimmy. Shout out Lewis. JP up top, Morgan Rogers off the left, and then Cole Palmer off the right. So attack wise, as strong as we can get. Defensively, probably not our first choice lineup. Definitely on the wing backs, definitely not. And then midfield, not our first choice lineup too. So kudos to the fellas, to the lads, to the boys for going away to Fulham, hostile environment, and dealing with that pressure, soaking it up, and getting out there with all 3 points. And we got off to a good start, fellas, as good as you can get. Got a turnover early on the that right hand side. Cole Palmer one pass into JP. JP like a little dip, little chip over top of Bert Leno. 1 minute in, and it's 1-0 already. And look, try to tell folks this year JP is taking that leap. 18 to 20 goals is what we expect out of him. Right? That's the expectation in the league. 18 to 20 goals. The types of finishing that he can do that we've seen, right foot, left foot, long shots, shots in the box, headers. He's got all of that in his locker. He just needs just put it on full display. Be selfish, get your shots off, run up those goals. Don't know who's going to be on pens this year. Maybe that helps him out a little bit too, but we get the early start, and we're playing well in the beginning. We're pressing high. We're creating lots of turnovers in and around their box, but we're just not capitalizing on all of them. Right? We're creating half chances, or there's a couple opportunities where Cole Palmer was a little bit hesitant to shoot with his right foot. Some other opportunities where JP didn't get a shot off. Morgan Rogers was getting a couple shots blocked and things like that. But the high press was on. It was early. It was very well, right? Man to man. You can see Lacroix coming into midfield marking folks. You can see Palmer going out and taking the wide man, taking the wide option. Morgan Rogers on his side too, with Lavia and Reece James coming up to sort of get that the pressure, that midfielder that's coming to pick the ball up off of Fulham's back line or Bert Leno. So the press, very organized in the beginning. And this was a chaotic game, right? And credit to Arbeloa because he realized very quickly that the way to beat us today was to not beat us through the middle and play balls through that central channels. It was to play balls over the top, into those half spaces, into those channels, and let their attackers run onto it and create a little bit of madness to help get Fulham further up the pitch. And they did a good job of that, right? They did a very good job of holding onto the ball, of sort of creating some of that chaos with some of those balls over the top and in behind. If it wasn't for Lacroix and even Josh to a certain extent, this game the scoreline could have been very different, and it would have been a very, very different KG on this match reaction. But luckily, we do have Lacroix. Luckily, we do have Josh back there as well, who played very well defensively today. A little suspect on the ball, but defensively, he did his job first, and that's what I want out of my defenders. Very, very good job of cleaning stuff in behind. But once again, the elephant in the room, as my boy SB likes to say, the right back in goal does what he does and makes things interesting for better or for worse, right? We need to divorce ourselves of this dude, right? No for better. God forbid he can get worse, because that would be disastrous. But once again, right, and the genesis of Fulham's first goal, Josh King, wasn't all on Sanchez, right? There were some things that we could have done defensively. Morgan Rogers didn't track the runner. Lavia was a step slow to get over to Josh King to sort of narrow the angle. But at the end of the day, to get beat like that near post, I haven't confirmed it, but what I've heard is that it was a .03 xG shot, so very, 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 very low chance shot that was registered, and it goes in, and it's just it's Sanchez. It is Robert Sanchez. It is the reason why Chelsea fans, with the manager that we now have, right, with the additions that we've made to the squad, with the folks that are coming back healthy, it is the reason why we are capped in what we can achieve this year in terms of the league. Until we fully address that goalkeeping position, we are a moment of madness away from throwing away 3 points or throwing away a result. Because he can do that at any point, at any given time, and create chaos and unsteady the back line when it doesn't need to be. This is our starting keeper for the fourth year running now. He is what he is, folks. I don't want to hear about, but Donnarumma makes mistakes, but Raya makes mistakes. Yes, they might make mistakes, but I don't care about them. I care about Robert Sanchez because he's my keeper. He's in net for my club. So you don't say, one of the weakest ways to make an argument is saying, well, what about the other guy? No, don't worry about the other guy. That's none of our concern. Worry about who we have and worry about what that person is doing to unsteady the back line and to create that little bit of doubt that, you know what, my keeper could put us into a moment of madness, or he cannot potentially bail us out when we need be. And we've seen Robert Sanchez have fantastic games when it comes to shot stopping. Even some games where his long distribution, his long balls over the top are very good. But they're far and few between. If there's an opportunity out there, and there might be an opportunity with Martinez at Aston Villa, make the move. Make the move. Well, I guarantee you we'll see Penders Thursday against Luton in the Carabao Cup. So hopefully Penders puts in a good performance and it creates a little bit of competition for that number one spot. But Robert Sanchez today, absolute, absolute stinker. But we do grab that 2-1 lead moments before halftime. And of all people, it's Max Lacroix. Not only was he cleaning up things on the back end, but on the front end, a nice little drop of the shoulder, gets to the byline, cuts it back. JP leaves it. Maybe he heard a shout from Morgan Rogers, and Morgan Rogers puts it into the back of the net. And it's 2-1, and we go into halftime pumped. And we're like, okay, we can do this. We can handle this. We can manage this situation and potentially kill off the game. And what do we do when we come out in the about to say in the third quarter? I'm so used to the World Cup and the quarters and the breaks and things like that. But in the second half, right from the start, the intensity is there. We're winning the duels. We did a pretty poor job today winning the second balls and things like that. But the duels, we were very, very good today. And that's what this league is all about. But we get a nice little, we dispossess them on their left-hand side, or our left-hand side, their right-hand side, play a ball over the top. Morgan Rogers heads it on to JP, who does a great job of sort of holding his run on the halfway line. Gets in behind, holds up the play, waits for Cole Palmer to come into play, passes it, a little reverse pass to Cole Palmer, and scores from one of the tightest angles that you'll see. And it's 3-1, and we're like, let's get a fourth, kill this game out, make some subs, and we move. Because we picked up a couple of early yellow cards. Colwell, who had his problems today defensively. We'll talk about him on the next goal. And Lavia, who a little harsh when it comes to his yellow card, but had to come off for precaution for the yellow and maybe even for his injury, right? So hasn't done 90 minutes in a competitive match. But Lavia was okay today. I'm okay when Lavia is in the team. But once again, we a long ball over the top, causes us problems. It's only like 5 minutes after we score. Colwell doesn't deal with it. He heads it back into the danger area. Shot comes in. Robert Sanchez, bozo moment again. Shots right at him. Parries it right back into danger. Achapon doesn't get over in time. And their new striker, Garcia, I think Gonzalo Garcia or something like that from Madrid. Nice header. Johnny on the spot. It's 3-2. They're back in it, and there's momentum and things like that. But luckily for us, we did a fantastic job of just seeing it out. We still created opportunities. JP put the ball in the back of the net, but it was offside. We had a couple other opportunities. Cole Palmer went just wide. Even the first half, JP on the half volley, right uh, inches away from the near post. Lavia, little toe poke, stabbed at it. Couldn't. Keeper was in the right spot. Bert Leno. So we had plenty of opportunities. You're going to see these BS narratives online on Twitter about Fulham dominated us. Did they dominate possession? Absolutely. But dominating possession doesn't mean you dominate the game, right? Those two things aren't always, they can be mutually exclusive. We created four times as, I think we had four big chances created. They had one. We had like 15 shots to their like 10. So you can say that yes, they dominated possession, and they did. They did. They held the ball very well. We pressed well at times, and then we sort of sat back at times as well. Um, Josh King, like I mentioned before, created a lot of issues in that half space. Um, Refereeing atrocious, as we always see in this league. Number 8 for them. I forget what his last name is, but he had 2 yellow cards, clear yellow cards, where he's pulling our players back, and the referee doesn't want to give it, but they want to pull out the yellow card for us when we do the same sort of infringes. Which some of our yellows, Colwell deserved a yellow. Lavia definitely probably deserved a yellow for that. So, we hold our hands up for that. But at the same time, come on, man, come on. Those are run of the mill yellow cards in today's game. But look, standout performers today. The front three, fantastic. Even though Morgan Rogers wasn't quite up to speed with some of the defensive work, but intact. JP, fantastic. Cole Palmer, like that was, it's just one game. So we're not going to say Cole Palmer's back and fully get on that hype train. But that's the Cole Palmer that we saw that first year under Poch, twisting people up, dangerous. Um, Everybody ate in that attack today. JP a goal and assist, Cole Palmer a goal and assist, Morgan Rogers a goal. So just a fantastic front three. And I try to tell people like, yo, nobody's front three can chat to our front threes in the league. If Cole Palmer plays like that or plays 75% of that, no one's chatting to our attacking trio in the league. So yeah, folks might have better depth, and I will fully agree. Even though I like Esteval and I like Quenda, and I like Danny Welbeck and some of the options that we have that can play. Even Enzo can probably go up there in a 10 as well. Um, our starting three up there with anybody in the league, up there with absolutely anybody in the league. They showed it today, folks. They showed it today. They put JP put the league on notice 1 minute into the game. Put everybody on notice, and you see all over match reactions, right? I've seen all the titles. I've seen Matisse's title. I've seen Culture Cam's. I've seen Liaz. I've seen my boy Mo. I've seen my boy Hussam. I've seen Lewis's. I've seen who else? I've seen all the big content creators in this sort of space. There's a lot of glaze going on for the attack and things like that. And it looked rightfully so. Do we need to clean up some things defensively? Absolutely. But folks, it's the first game of the season. Like I've told United folks, like I've told City folks, like I've told Arsenal folks, like I've told, I was going to say Aston Villa folks, but there's really only one Aston Villa fan in JM. Yo, it's one game. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. You get 3 points, enjoy it. You move on. If you catch an L, you have a draw like KJ. Hey, you move on. You learn. One more 90-minute match underneath your boots, fitness and stuff like that, and you move. But folks, my before we wrap it up, my player of the game, ooh, it's tough. It's between Lacroix and Palmer. For as good as Palmer was in running the show, Lacroix was just as good in the back line. Don't think we could have won without either one of them. But man, I'm gonna edge it. I'm gonna edge it to Lacroix because of the assist. I'm gonna edge it to Lacroix, but it's hard, folks. It's hard. But I'll be honest with you. When we have hard decisions about who should be player of the match or man of the match, then you know we're doing some things right. You know what else you can do? That's right. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Turn those notifications on. Let me know in the comments as well. Up the Chelsea.